The dream of seamless, flexible, customized mobility. The desire for total awareness and predictive control. These visions are not new, but the technology that enables them is now within reach.
We're going to have a transportation as a service model where you're going to basically pay a monthly subscription fee that's going to give you access to a certain amount of services. So imagine like a data plan back in the day where you chose this many minutes for texting, this many texts, this many photos, this many talk time, etc. We're going to get the same thing when you say this much transit, this much sharing, this much on-demand services, and you're going to choose that based on your preferences.
It's only a matter of time until we have truly seamless transportation that you can do routing, booking, payment, all from your smartphone, whether it's taking a transit trip, whether it's booking ahead to reserve a bike share at the station to get you the last mile to your journey.
You got to build a platform that people really want to be a part of and then provide them a multitude of services, but also creating a platform that people want to use.
Today, we're witnessing a convergence of trends, including social networks, the sharing economy, artificial intelligence, and ever-improving wireless connections and processing power. Together, they create a new data infrastructure, the emerging fabric of tomorrow's urban mobility systems.
We've got cloud as a consumption model that allows us to scale, allows us to consume IT in a much different manner, a much cheaper manner than we've ever done before, but in a much more scalable manner as well. Then we've got analytics. Analytics allows us to do a lot of predictive type of things, but analytics also allows us to measure how well an application is doing and to make it incrementally better and better and better by looking at consumption patterns, looking at how people actually use the application. And then we have social platforms that are adding this fidelity to the data. The more we have data, the more we know about something, the more we can discover things, the more we learn, the more we know.
As I say, the value proposition, the real value proposition, it's a $10 trillion market, but the real value proposition is who owns the data stream.
But if data is the new engine, who owns it? Whose interests govern its use? And what will we, as citizens, gain in return?
If we can just share data in a secure and predictable way, it's actually possible to immediately build services that combine these different types of transport.
So creating a data governance structure that we can actually manage the data. What the city cares about for data is, can we see a dashboard of how all the different services are being optimized or utilized and how people are moving around the city. And we care about things like safety, vision zero. We want to see fatalities go down to zero. We want to see collisions go down because that costs us a lot of money in the economy. So there's a lot of zeros. We want to get to zero emissions, zero waste, zero pollution, zero noise. We don't want to have a noisy city with transportation. All those zeros get us to a lot of pluses, more affordable, easier. It's actually fun. Imagine having a city that's fun. So transport becomes fun and exciting, and it's part of that everyday life.
One of the things that we're working on at Ford that I'm very excited by is to create a platform in which all the transportation assets are talking to each other.
I'm hopeful that the next wave of technologies that transit agencies procure for payment on their systems will allow people to move more seamlessly between modes like Lyft and transit, and for them to pay through a single mechanism.
One of the most important innovations of the iPhone was the concept of it being a platform for others. In order for large-scale transformation of how we make use of the opportunities that are already there in terms of new types of mobility services, you also need to think in terms of platform. It's a government responsibility to make sure that the platform is in place, not in terms of an iPhone, but in terms of the data that makes it possible to connect these new services that will create a market. We need a public good platform. That means the mandates, the responsibilities to make sure that mobility data can be shared and that businesses, solutions, apps, etc. can be built on that. We need to get that in place.
I touch the earth but never the ground. My football makes no sound. Light the flame, light the fire, keys in my hand, ready to burn it down. no name can't slow me down. Wind in my hair, ready to run, 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 run. I touch the earth but never the ground. My football makes no sound. Light the flame, light the fire, keys in my hand, ready to burn, burn, burn.